Well, and welcome everybody to our Tuesday night pulse chain in motion. Hello,
Evening.
Tuesday night lights. Big hey now. Woo. Fast Abdul and I've been streaming all day. I
We
don't know how
have.
you. I think you
This
were
is
like
my
a
this is my third
32.
joining you in
Oh yeah, yeah. I know you did. You did like 32 or something, man. I'm just a
something like
few in. So what's going on? How's Hex
that.
Week?
Oh, I've mostly done panels with other people, but like it was good. Like we did the a Maximus DAO panel today, and talk went over Maximus DAO, the stuff that's happening there. They got Trio ending in October. No, sorry. I think yeah, October. So that's cool. That's something to be aware of. And then I did a Hex panel with Corey Geary and Big Kurkowski and Jexa. So those are guys to get along with usually. It's exciting.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that. I did two today. One was what did I do? Well, the second one was on Communis, and then the first one
Yeah,
was on the asymmetrical opportunity of staking Hex Quattro Cinco. The two of those
nice.
fit to get all pretty good. I thought that was good.
Yeah, I'll have to watch the Communist one because I don't consider myself a Communist expert. I like kind of know how it works. I get the idea behind it. I probably know more about Axis's Alive protocol, which is close. So, but yeah, I should really listen to that.
Yeah, I think you'll figure it out pretty quick if somebody sits down and talks to you about it. It's all about
Yeah,
it's all about incentivizing people to stake Hex, right? And the thing
I
is,
get
it's in
that.
the yeah, it's in the hands of the community to make comm more valuable, right? Just like everything else, right? By driving the
Yep.
demand for it and making thicker LP over time, because as it becomes more scarce, it becomes so both comm and hex inflate.
Yep.
Right, they both inflate. But there's a deflationary effect, as in that they both inflate slower over time because of the t-shirt rate, right? And so even though they're both inflating, and then on top of that, COM inflates at a faster rate or deflates. It has it's the right way to say this. So it inflates as well, and it's a curbed inflation, but it's even less in relation to hex. Okay,
Right.
so the ratio between hex and com in existence always is going to split and go further away. And so, based on those dynamics and you know the uh, the way AMMs work and the liquidity that's there in the constant product formula, then the theory is that com will overperform hex in any given situation over time. And so then, if people make it more expensive, then it becomes something that's given away, or given as a reward or bonus to stakers, incentivizing people to stake.
Right.
So
And
it
if that gets
creates.
to a high ratio, like if you're getting 80% of your stake value back to stake, then obviously that's going to incite people to stake more, right?
Right, right, and it's a little bit more flywheel action, mousetrap stuff, like, people have to believe enough in it to put value up that they don't personally redeem into com in order to make their hex bags go up.
Right. But like where do you find the people who are willing to do that, right? Like aside from finding like, one or two beneficial whales who are capable of understanding, which isn't always a given with somebody who's a whale,
Mhm.
and are willing to, put something up to increase the value of calm. Like how do we get the community at large to participate?
Well, I think we're seeing them do it now.
Okay.
I think that because I really would tip my hat to that. I mean, we have um, several entities that have put up tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of LP. We have tokens that have been made specifically to drive volume through comm. There's one guy out there that had talked about having set up a bot network, not me, but somebody set up a bot network to push volume through. There's at least one, maybe more, tokens that are buying and burning it.
Okay.
And then I would estimate that the community of people, they're going to be hexagons mostly, right? Community of people, yeah, it's no longer small. I would call it probably 50 to 100 individuals now that are like super interested in pushing it, and getting comm to go in that direction. Some of them of various sizes. I mean, if somebody's coming in with $50,000, $100,000 in LP, I would consider that a larger player, than average.
Yeah, that's in Hex. It's a larger player anyway.
Yeah, and so so this is kind of moving along, and yeah, are we there yet? No. Are we on our way? Maybe. I think so. I think so with comm. But the
So what
ultimate,
are the ratios right now, right? Like if I stake Hex, what percentage of that do I get back in comm?
I'll tell you, if I'm not mistaken, it's 4.17% as of a couple
Okay.
hours ago. I just did that presentation. So when somebody stakes Quattro Cinco, $100, they get worth of hex. They
Yep.
get let's see, 4.17, $4.17 in comm back. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not huge, but it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, right? Like it's not nothing.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, if you don't play the game with comm, meaning you don't do it by the rules, which is native staking, got to be a native staker, and then
That's
you got to
right.
stake to get any bonus at all. It's got to be more than 180 days stake, so you got to be at least doing that, and then to get any. And that's just for like start bonuses. For end bonuses, to qualify for end bonuses, the stake has to be a full year. So you've already cut anybody who would have done any short stake. And then when you
Yep.
take it a step further, you get like 50 times more comm for going Quattro Cinco with the same amount of hex as you would for going short, at a year. So it's quite substantial what you get, and that's what the coupon is based on, is that Quattro Cinco. So then you have this whole little pipeline of what is expected to be minted for comm over time. But there's
Yep.
people listening right now that already they're not stakers, right? So they're out, right? And then you have people, maybe they're doing short staking, they're out. And then there's people who don't even care to do it, and they're out, right? They don't even claim theirs, right? And so you have this added kind of inactive token, because once the stakes are ended, you can never claim it again. So you have this other layer of scarcity that's being imposed by people ignoring it. And then there's also the step where if, let's say somebody's like, oh, I'm just going to stake and I'm going to extract. Well, you can only do that a few times before you can no longer even claim end bonuses, because the way the system's set up is you have to actually do some staking of the comm. If you don't stake some of the comm, you end up with what they call a end bonus debt or end debt, and then you just can't stake it. Or you can't. Well, you can stake, but you just can't get more comm later. And so the incentive is there for people who are staking hex to claim their bonuses, and the only time you can stake comm is when you claim your bonus.
Right.
So,
Okay. That's
so
interesting.
the first lesson most of us learned was we claimed the bonus and we were like, hey, I want to stake this. They're like, nope, sorry, you got to wait for your next stake to end, because the only
Right.
time you can actually stake the comm is that. And so I use this is during that process when you claim your bonuses. And so I use that example today in the stream. Like I think the numbers are that if you have one quad, which is a lot, 1,000 trillion comm, but there's a lot of comm. The comm is like this, very large number that's out there in supply. But if you have one quad staked, which I'm not sure anybody does, but so it's a high level goal to try to reach that. Right now, you would make about $2,000 a year in rewards of comm. But you would
That's
need you would need to
not
get
bad.
one quad of comm staked, and so at first, $2,000 is like, nah, okay, yeah, it's a good money. I mean, if you gave it to me, I'd like it. So I'll send you my address, right? You can send me $2,000. But that's not the point. The point is, well, what about this is crypto and prices go up and to the right and it's tied to HEX and maybe it overperforms HEX. So what's 2,000 times 10? Well, wait a minute, that's 20,000.
Starts to be
What
interesting.
if it was 100 times 2,000? Now
That's
now
$2 million.
now am I interested in $200,000 or whatever?
200,000. There we go.
Am I interested in $200,000 a year in comp? Yeah, it probably would be, right?
Yeah.
And so it definitely there's some bias with that numbers wise, and I think the comtopia, the utopia view would be that someday in the future, I stake my HEX. I'm doing Quattro Cincos because I'm adding to the end of my ladder. I'm getting these big comm bonuses up front. I'm staking
Yep.
the comm, satisfying my debt. And now I'm getting paid comm, and the comm is enough to live off of.
Totally. Or the
So
comm is equivalent to the HEX you stake. That would be the ultimate dream, right? Obviously, that wouldn't be a sustainable situation,
unsustainable, yeah. But
but
there could
like
be
it
there
doesn't
could
mean
be
it couldn't
moments in
happen
time.
at some point.
Oh yeah, it could happen. It could happen for moments at a time or
Yeah.
periods of time. But the idea would be to kind of like roll it like that.
The only thing I don't like is the native stake requirement. Just because it limits some options. I kind of understand why they did it. Like it feels like, probably they're like, this is how Hex was meant to be staked. But I like the innovation of HSIs. I like things like Actuator, like Cosahedron, like extra things that can be done with a, you know, uh, like a tokenized Hex stake.
I hear you. I hear you about that because obviously you know that I have both when I've talked about both, and I'm a
Yeah.
big supporter of Actuator, and I utilize HSIs as well. So I do think it's conditional for sure. Um, all right, let's see here. We'll get right to you, Frank. Let's throw this up here. Hexagon Los Angeles is exactly right. Yeah. I can't make any promises because I'm not running that show over there, but I do believe there's a possibility that interface is going to get fixed for comp.
There we go.
Very important question. Triplet Dad wants to know where's the promised tech in Hexagon Los Angeles. You did ask about your nipples being pegged. I don't know.
My nipples are not currently pegged. I wouldn't put
Oh,
myself
good.
in that camp.
Oh, good.
But
All
like
right.
consenting adults, like if that's what you want to do, like your nipples, you do what you like with them.
And Frank
I won't
White,
judge your
thank you.
lifestyle.
Thank you. Thank you very much for
PLS Start.
approving us. Pulse Start
Yeah.
approves of this stream, Frank White. Thank you for the super chat.
PLSstart.me. Check it out, guys. It's got all your links in one place. Very handy.
Did you say PLS Start Me? Start.me?
Yeah, well, I say PLSstart.me, but I know that's PLSART.me. So I'm not quite sure how you would actually read it.
Well, we better get it and post it at some point. We should do that. All right. So what else is going on? You hear anything? You see anything new? I got some new stuff we can get into, but you see anything new with coming out of this week's Hex week? Besides, there's a bunch of crazy people who like Hex.
Yeah, it looks like some people like Hex. I didn't notice anything, no new products in the things that I viewed. I did find one cool new thing this week, though, that I thought was neat enough, and it actually made me some money. Well, money I already had, I just didn't know I had it.
Was this a
So
lottery?
it's not a lottery. Well, it was kind of a lottery because it's sort of luck of the draw. I'll drop it in the private chat here. It's squirrels.pro, made by my alter ego Red Squirrel, and it's like a wallet explorer. You can drop your wallet in there, portfolio manager, and I found a bunch of weird stuff that I didn't know I had. I was able to, pull out about $2,000 that I rolled into cores from various PRC20 copies of this and that, and this weird things that I couldn't even remember buying. So it was pretty cool. Of course, I have like 1,000 wallets. It took some time, but it was a good tool to look at what was in my wallet.
Very good. I don't see the our show comments.
You don't see our comments? No, I don't see it on in.
Like I don't
I
see
can't
like
see
a
it in.
ability for you and I to do private.
Really?
Yeah.
I see a studio chat where I put something in a studio chat.
Maybe you're in charge this time. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Let
It
me see
might
if
be
I can
left
take
over.
you
It
off the
might be.
screen.
It might be left over from before.
You might need to update something.
Yeah. I'll worry about it. No biggie right now. No biggie. I see that. It's just kind of
Anyway,
weird.
I can
That
share this to the screen if you like.
yeah, if you don't
It's
mind,
interesting enough.
let's do it. Oh, red squirrel. Here's a trivia question for you. Squirrels
Shoot.
carnivores or vegetarians? What are they?
Squirrels are primarily vegetarians. They might eat the odd bug or something like that, but mostly they're gathering the nuts.
I think officially they're omnivores. Though. They're not just
No,
the
no.
nut. They're not just the nut eaters. They'll eat your little baby birds and stuff too.
They may on occasion, but like I think they're
I got more. I got more squirrel.
99%
I
other
have more
stuff.
squirrel trivia for you as we go along, if you want. But go ahead and explain
You
this first.
Sure, you bet. Let me find my screen here. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Like it's just a platform where you can manage portfolios. You can put up to 10 wallet addresses in. And I'm going to drop a wallet address in here. I'm going to use the Fire Whales public address. I don't think you'll mind. I can add it in here, and then it's going to find what's in there. Oh, I
Go
might have
for
to
it.
turn on my VPN. Yeah, 1 sec. Deploying VPN. I'm on satellite and it gets mad at the satellite sometimes. I can't go to every site. I don't know why.
That's it. I'm calling
Okay,
Musk.
VPN deployed. I'm going to try that again. That's just on my side, guys. So we'll add this wallet in here. And it's going to look at the wallet, and it's just looking at PulseChain, and it pulls up, every weird thing that's in there. I don't think it didn't have all the LP positions, but it had the NFTs, like it had a bunch of LP positions. It had and it had like weird tokens that like you may or may not be aware of, right? So, you know, I I was kind of using it to clear the dust out of my wallet was sort of my plan. But like I ended up finding like thousands of dollars of dust in my wallets. So I was like, okay, that was useful. Thank you, Mr. Squirrel. I should have picked a smaller wallet. Firewhale's wallet is huge.
That's right. You are fast approved.
Oh, here we go. So, all right, good. I got $268 million in here. That's handy. But we can see, like, okay, the holdings of this wallet, like the things we're not surprised about. So he's got some WBTC time tokens, Axis, some good stuff, right? But then we can start to find like some weirder things that you might not think of, like, oh, like Firewhale has $50,000 in copied Aave tokens, right? It's like, okay, that's kind of interesting. I imagine he knows about that one. But like as we go down the list, you start to find some things. So what's this RePLS? I've never heard of that. He's got $700 of that. I wonder who made that one.
Yeah.
So he's got various Pepes, right? And some of these are PRC20 tokens. And when we go
Never know.
right to the bottom of the list, of course, he's got probably people are sending him some things, so he's got some weird things. But we can look at the lower value items, right? So these are things that are on in his wallet. Lower value is $10 or less. I think in mine it was $1 or less. But you can see, and this is sorry, they're kind of grayed out. But you can see like weird things that like he's probably not aware of, right? So, and I bet you if he cleared up all these $10 copies that he has, like there might be $1,000 in there. So, you can put your wallet in there. You're not connecting your wallet. You're just dropping it in there. But here's a good one, like Pax Dollar, right? Like that's a copied stable coin, right? And like it will
Mhm.
have some actual value, 2 cents in this case, but like it's things like that that you can find in your wallet. And maybe you did something a while ago, right? PulseChain's been out for a while. If you're a guy like me who was doing weird arbitrage stuff on, sketchy copy dexes, then you might have some weird dust that is suddenly worth money. And it wasn't a bad thing. So yeah, shout out to the squirrel. Maybe Frank may consider putting a link to this on plsstart.me,
Thank you,
as I
Red
found it useful.
Squirrel, and hopefully Frank.
Indeed.
Squirrels are my friends. I like squirrels.
Oh, yeah, give me some more squirrel trivia, like recipes and stuff.
Mm. Well, what color are squirrels where I live? What do you think?
Gray.
Yeah, gray. Gray.
Yeah, they tend to
I
be
don't know.
dominant.
I don't know. I don't know what color they up your way, but up in Calgary, black.
Yeah.
Black as night.
Hmm.
Man, it's crazy how that developed. Same, it's pretty much the same species, but a variation. Having to do with
I think
shade
they
and
tend to
light
be
and
bigger,
whatnot.
the gray ones, right? I think that's why we see them more.
Yeah, they grow, as they get older. I don't know out here. You've probably seen the commercials where squirrels taunt drivers and cause them to get in accidents.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's not real. Like, I mean, it's probably as real as B die to a dollar, but I'm joking, guys. Don't get mad. Um, the but obviously, I don't really think squirrels are that smart. However, they are very smart, and in the early years of the United States, right, many of them were kept as pets, like cats, and they usually will live to be over 20 years, and they remember a very good recall.
Hmm.
It's probably kind of crazy,
They
right? So
they seem to have a good they have a good system. They communicate with each other. Like you'll hear two squirrels talking, right, to each other, like they're fighting, usually like they're shouting at each other. um and they have a thing where they like alert to danger, right? And it's so you can kind of, when you're in the woods, which I am a fair amount, like the squirrels, and like if the squirrels are freaking out, I kind of want to figure out if the squirrels are freaking out about me or if it's something else. And if it's something else, I
something.
want to know what.
Hey, it might be Saturday date night. Don't know.
That could be that too, yeah. I'm not quite sure
Billy,
what that sounds like.
Billy X says it took big nuts to hold through this picture, dead man. Ironclad, steely. All right. So I'm sure everybody wants to hear my discussion about squirrels because I got them rolling around in my head too. Um, I've been on a little bit of a mission this week working on marketing data.
Yes. Do
Yeah, so
tell.
maybe we can go over that. I can maybe share some information. That's a good venue to do that, to get that out to people. I
Mhm.
got some presentations, some stuff I could show, but we can talk through it though, as well. Maybe I'll put up the slides for info. So, Richard's been talking about what's going to happen, right? And I can't tell you that what's the right way to say it? So he's been talking about this effort, this direct mail effort. And I'm not a like a publishing or a marketing professional or anything, right? So I know a little bit. I know about enough to get myself in trouble. Um, and I got to tell you that initially my reaction was skeptical, and I was kind of like, I don't know what I don't know what he's sending out. I don't know what he's doing. And I took I took part in some of the information, like, there's these channels that popped up and I went and looked at those.
Yeah.
I've been watching what's happening on X and people are talking about periodically. But that all changed. That all changed. My life changed. So I finally was like, and I said this last week, I think. I was like, we got to do something different, right? I mean, this should be exciting. This should be fun. As much as I like seeing the train push through the buck-shaped wall, right?
Yeah, yeah.
even though I'm still about 15 years old in my head, and that makes me laugh. I'm thinking, okay, there's a little bit more to it after that, right? So after the train passes through, right? But so I started thinking about like, well, okay, so how the hell did this happen? What is it that he's doing, and what's it going to look like? And I don't mean the object itself. I mean the object's going to be the object. I mean people are going to bitch like they normally bitch about
How are
things
people
anyway.
going to react to it, and how is it going to be effective, or will it be effective?
Well, right. Well, they're two different things. So first off, the marketing is not to you and I and everybody watching this. It's not. It's not marketing for us, guys. So first off, you got to really like. I was thinking about it. Like you got to really think about
We're
that.
not the target.
We're not the target audience, right? The target audience is get new people on chain, and then okay, so we got that going for us, and so I was just thinking, so I said, well, why not? Why wouldn't I do this? And why would I do it? Anyways, I started doing some research, and son of a bitch, wouldn't you, wouldn't it come to pass that as I'm doing the research, I found out that the number one producing marketing approach is to buy an electronic product and to have it delivered by direct mail to people. Now go figure. Now, okay, so Richard said that, right? Richard said that, but that didn't mean that I understood that, right? So now, okay, I had this wonderful epiphany because I have Google, and because I have Google, I can go look up information, and I can talk to, I can talk to, the AI and all this other crap, right? All right, but let me hit you with some other facts, right? That I think is pretty cool about this. All right. So they had to be thinking, or he had to be thinking, or his team had to be thinking, what is it that this thing's got to do? Now, remember, it's got to go out to hundreds of thousands of homes, right? So I'm went through like what you would normally do, I guess, with like a marketing like thing if we were doing it and we were going to say, hey, let's do a marketing workshop and let's brainstorm, what it is that we're going to do. And the way that would come about is you'd say, okay, well, what's your objective, man? What are you trying to get out of this, right? And so what's the approach? What's the approach? What are the key things to think about? And these are things Richard had said already, right? Something that's going to be used every day.
Okay.
Let me see what's something just beeped on my thing here.
Yeah, maybe.
Access Alive's here. Hey, buddy. I didn't even know he was coming. That's what I get for using old links. Either that or you sent it to. What's up there, Access?
What's going on, gentlemen?
I was just talking. Yes. We're just talking.
We're talking
about marketing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just going to go over the high level of this. First, we'd want something that's going to be used every day, something that's highly visible in the home, something that's aligned with the chain, and then memorable, right? Well, no shit. If sending electronic gifts doesn't check all those boxes, like I'm serious. People go do research on this. Go look it up, right? And so that's what I did.
But you already did the research on this.
I did.
Yeah. So did you tell them the findings? That's the real question.
There'll be people who don't believe me.
Just by talking to you.
Yeah, I was telling you. You go do it.
Well, I mean, I already know. I got the inside scoop.
I know.
But you should tell the good people what you found out about this kind of marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. Let's see. Anybody have any questions so far in the chat? I think they all hung up anyways. I see Tam out there. All right.
Yeah, she just got off her first space.
I know. I was so sad I couldn't make it. I've been tied up.
Yeah. How'd the comm piece
university
go?
thing?
Yeah, that's awesome.
We queued it up, man, for you and me to do that panel. We'll do that comm panel.
Dude, how am I supposed to fill 45 minutes of HEX price history? And if anybody's got any ideas in the chat, please let us know. I pretty much could go through the whole thing and like.
I don't know. You could make it a little bit longer. Be like, and one time the HEX price went up, and this other time it went down. You do that.
Just look
Yeah,
at
you
like
could.
the 4-hour
No, I mean, I
chart and
got all
then the
kinds of
15-minute
history.
chart.
Well, we don't need to go that deep.
Hey, you could use
In the early days, it was relevant though. Like around Big
you
Payday,
could.
those 15-minute charts would really pop around.
Yeah, you could.
Oh,
You
yeah,
could
bro.
definitely do it. Well, you could use the
all kinds of-
GRM from the last cycle and kind of talk to that. That might be useful. I don't know. As
It's a good idea.
as an example, actual, like prices, like when we got the buy signals and all the rest. But all right, hey, so going back to this marketing thing. So, all right, so you guys take my word for it. Number one, that this is an excellent choice. Some sort of electronic gift is an excellent choice. All right, here's a couple of like points before we get too far away from this. First off, when people get things like that in the mail, they consider it a gift. It's not an advertisement. It's a gift. All right. Why does that matter? Because on average, they keep it twice as long, like 2 years. They keep them for like 2 years. You give somebody an electronic gift, even if it's branded and it comes in the mail, you're probably keeping it 2 years or more. All right. Next.
And then what's the sentiment that goes with that? How do you feel when someone gives you a gift versus an advertisement?
I love you. Yeah. Exactly. And people do that. All right. Next. Right. People who get gifts like that tend to remember 80% of the time, long term, who sent the gift. Versus like if you get an ad, you get exposed to an ad or something, you most people forget the next day, right? All right. So 80% recall. Businesses are more likely to do business with companies after they receive a promo like that. So that's a little bit of a sideways thing there. You get an item like this and you got it in your house and it's getting visible. It gets 1,000 touches a year. That's this is information, right? It's not coming from Richard and PulseChain. This is coming from marketing groups and all this other stuff. So you're likely to hold it for 2 years and get 1,000 touches a year. That's a lot. That's a lot of touches, meaning you're going to see it and correlate it, right? So you get a couple thousand, and then 80% of the people say that afterwards, after they get something like this, they tell their friends and family about it, the ones that didn't get it. And then you take it one more step further. Let's say for whatever reason they're done using it, they give it away to somebody else to use. They don't throw it away. That's crazy, man. That's crazy talk. So what we're talking about is getting a product in front of 200,000 households. Let's just make believe there's 2 people in every household. I don't know what the hell the average is. I think it's actually higher than that, but let's just say the households that get it, there's 2 people. So you're getting
2 people making decisions.
Yeah, you're getting 400,000 people, presumably, if you don't count their summer house. Right? Anyways, you're getting 400,000 people that are going to tell at least another 400,000 people about something, and they're going to keep it and see it for 2 years.
My only concern, it's not a concern, it's just more of a quandary, is what could this be where it had some sort of utility where people would use it rather than just look at it or keep it as a curiosity. So I think even if it was just you open it up, there's a little screen and it says, hello, buy pressure, let's talk about PulseChain. That's cool, and people would show their friends because it was cool and weird and novel. But like, if it had some other function where it was of daily use, like that would add another element of longevity to people having that and actually touching it daily, like you said.
Yeah.
Do we know how big the sample size was on this, whatever this research paper was that you looked into, or are we just pulling information from ChatGPT?
Yeah, pulling out of my ass. I have the citations.
Well,
I put it in the KOL document that I sent over. Each one of them cited.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gone. Fair information. I haven't gone through with everything individually.
Well, I'm all about the Fair Information Act.
Yeah, I know you're all about that. The end result, I was like, man, he did do some thinking about this, and he probably picked something good, and it probably is the best way to get in front of eyeballs. And then I did go a step further and go look at a couple case studies. One of them being, a case study where crypto.com failed miserably, by paying $700 million to brand a stadium. They didn't really get much business. But who did get a ton of business is Dropbox, right? Dropbox. So Dropbox did something similar to what Richard's doing. I wouldn't say it's the same thing. I don't know. Well, actually, I don't know the details yet, so I wouldn't know. But what they did is they gave a physical gift and they sent it out to people. And in like a very short time, like over a year, they 40x'd the community of people, the number of people doing business with them, 40x.
And we just need a 2x the community.
Attributed to that. Yeah, but it's attributed to that, the fact that they did that gift. That's pretty cool.
That's cool. I wonder what the gift could be like that's actually reasonable that it could be there. Like, you could throw a calendar on the back of any piece of advertising or something like that, but it's got to be cooler. You could have a calculator in it. Like if it had a screen where, Richard Hart talked to you, but also a calculator, maybe where Richard Hart read out your calculations. That'd be cool.
Moon math calculator.
Yeah, I listen. I've been joking around like everybody else, joked around about it being, pink toys. We've talked about them being, cell phones. We talked about them being computers. We've talked about them being, crypto
hardware
things.
Wallets. Yeah.
But listen, it's got to be scalable to millions, right? Nobody's sending out $1,000 devices to millions of people. Okay, I'm sorry. It's not what's happening right? So but whatever. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be pretty cool. But we gotta be thinking about what it could possibly be. And here's my wish for the community. I've said it a couple of times, but now I'm changing to be super positive. And because I want to be positive focused. I just want us all to support it. Or as many people as possible. Not too idealistic, right? Let's support what happens. It wasn't meant for us. It's meant to get other people in. We should celebrate the fact that it's going to get done and people are working on it and they're taking their time, money, effort, and putting it out there and getting it out to potentially 400,000 more people that are going to have a chance to come to the PulseChain. And we commonly, and you get some marketing, 1% is a number, right? So if you get 400,000 people, 1% of this 4,000, right? 4,000 more people interested maybe in actually pushing the button and coming over.
Yeah, the data speaks for itself. I don't even want to try to guess what it is. It doesn't really. I mean, obviously it's going to be useful, right? Or it should be based on this methodology.
We don't really know the full numbers. Like we know 200,000. That was kind of a public number that Richard talked about, but there could be other containers. So what if it's 2 million? What if it's 10 million of these things go out? The math could be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So I know he was asking for people to start charities in different countries, like a charity on to distribute things about blockchain in Australia, in the UK, in Europe, right? Like in Canada. So the numbers could be a lot bigger than based on the 200,000.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be. I wouldn't guarantee it, but because I kind of look at this like an experiment. But what we do know is like the number's been kicked around like 200,000 container on the way, right?
Good marketing always requires some sort of trial run, right? So I suspect that 200,000 is the trial run. Like we sent this out to these people, and these people, like this portion of the group responded, and these are the traits, some sort of information capture on the people that responded. Then the next batch, we can now target more focused on the type of person that responds, right? So you can get your response ratio or your closing ratio up higher than whatever the national average is for, mailers, right? Like there will be some response no matter what. And I imagine the mailing list is probably already fairly focused, but if there's any data collected at all, the second batch, the third batch, could have a higher impact and could be a different piece too. Like there could be a change to the marketing piece as time goes on, right? Like maybe this is going to happen over the next 5 years. We don't know.
Or maybe it's going to continue, but yeah.
If it works, right? If you're in marketing, right, or in sales, and you find a marketing thing that works, that's a net positive. Like I spent, and I used to do this kind of thing a lot. Like I'd spend $60,000 on marketing, And if it netted me $120,000, I would do it again, right? Like the math was just good. So like you do it until it doesn't work anymore, and you keep tweaking it to try to keep it working or make it work better. So if that's the case, like if these 200,000 for whatever they cost, result in a net gain, like why wouldn't you do it again?
Oh, you would. Well, this is a long-term effort, man. This is meaning the intent is going to be long-term, right? Build the community. This isn't about pumping things like next month. This is about getting people in, visible. I mean, seeing what's happening on the chain, getting involved, maybe, sticking around. It's meant to be sticky, not, with 1,000 touches, how could it not be sticky, right? I mean, that's the idea. HEX 369. I see you out there. So what do you think? We think X is.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds better than nothing. Let's get moving.
We can see SJ in the chat there. She's got an interesting comment you may want to take a look at.
Yeah, let's highlight that.
Yeah.
So first, we had Hex Chris saying fast. It's probably just not one distribution cycle. An investment goes through rounds and bullets in a chamber.
It's a very American way to say it.
Yep, very, very Western. A Wild SJ, I saw in the Simplex chat that the donor is hoping to send out millions.
Okay.
What Fast is saying right now seems very much in line with the way things are going. Very good.
Nice. So millions. Great. So yeah, let's multiply those numbers. Let's multiply all the numbers. I want to see some multipliers.
Let's see. I'm not sure. Relax Finance says getting people to support it just to support it is a waste of everyone's time. Yeah, I disagree.
Yeah.
I guess it could be argued that maybe Fringe is a little bit of waste of time talking about stuff in advance and whatnot. But here's what I don't want, Mr. or Mrs. Relax Finance. If I could affect things in the world, right? I don't want to spend 3 weeks arguing with people about something that's obviously a good thing. So why don't we all know that it's a good thing and go focus on doing more good stuff? Right. That's all.
Like there's no benefit to speaking out against it at the very least. I think at this point in the bull market, I feel like it's not the time to nitpick people on I don't like this influencer, this one's better, or whatever happened in the past. We just have to push forward and keep it positive, because the negative will not pay off. I'm very confident in that. The positive may well pay off.
Yeah. Well, I think so too, right? Because, here's the thing too: the recipients, initially, anyways, they're completely separate from us. So the recipients that get the stuff, they're gonna be completely separate, probably new to the chain. That might even be no coiners, right? And so those guys are guys and ladies. They won't know that we're a bunch of dips until they get over here and see, look, what the hell, these guys are retarded. Why are they acting this way, right?
I'm pretty sure too that he's going to be targeting older people, by crypto standards, right? So, it's going to be
So you're saying I need to launch boomerhex.com? Is that what you're saying? So we have
right. So you and me might get one, but Axis isn't going to get one. He's too young, right? It's going to be because those are the people who mailers work on, right? I still keep, I guess you guys probably, maybe you guys don't have Canadian Tire, but when I get the Canadian Tire catalog, you better bet I'm keeping that catalog and I'm looking through it a couple times, right? And that's not true of the younger generations as much. So that's one of the factors with physical mailing.
Did you talk about catalogs?
I'm talking about catalogs.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. That kind of something broke in my brain. It made me think of the Sears. Made me think of the Sears catalog.
Sears catalog, yeah. When you're a kid at Christmas, you get the Sears catalog. Man, you pour through that thing.
Now it's
still
just
catalogs
Amazon.
up in Canada.
Now it's just Amazon.
Yeah. But there's something to the physical catalog, right? And you at least have that memory, right? Maybe Axis, maybe you don't. But
we do.
the older generation responds to physical things, right? So, and in crypto, old is like 45 plus, which is also where mostly the
My
money is.
demographic on X surprisingly is like in the 20 to 30. No, I'm sorry, the 30 to 40 range, and then like maybe some 40 to 50 actually.
There we go.
So I think
Yeah.
like our community
So-
is in like the 30 to 50 range.
Yeah,
on average.
and we have an older community compared to most crypto communities, I would think. Right, I've met more Hexicans over 45 than I think I would meet if I was hanging with the Solana bros.
Makes sense. We've been in this for almost 6 years. We're getting great.
And we have a smarter product, right? We're going to draw people who are interested in finance and investment versus like get rich quick schemes.
Yeah.
Or dog pictures, etc. We
Maybe.
have dog
Yeah.
pictures too. But still.
Maybe. Hey, Hex Wizard, that's a great idea. We ought to come up with the Hex Christmas catalog. Of course,
There
we
we
might
go.
have to call it the Hex Holiday Catalog.
There'd only be 2 items. Well, no, I guess not. But 2 main items.
It could be more.
Well,
that'd be kind of fun.
Enlighten me.
We got a couple. We actually have some holiday Christmas related tokens out there. Christmas Club token, Xmas
go.
But
token,
that
Pulse.
but that doesn't pump my hex bags.
Pulsemas. I know. I got to think about that.
It does
That
if
was
you
a-
use them to buy hex.
C3
right.
Works. C3 Works had a great one. He was talking about actuator, of course, on the Hex day today, but he also was mentioning about building stuff on Hex. Made me stretch my brain a little bit, thinking about how could I build something that predominantly focused on supporting Hex. So open-ended question.
Something we do a lot of, actually.
Well, we try, yeah. I mean, well, with liquidity just in general, but just building things out, comm support, probably
I have one idea that I'd like to run by you guys.
Supporting the shit out of comm and hex right now.
Yeah, it's true. And the liquidity for sure.
Yeah, it's real, man.
What do you guys think of the concept of some sort of farming liquidity based thing that was on Ethereum for PulseChain assets?
I like the idea if it attracts more value into the system.
Yeah. Like obviously there'd be some arbitrage there, this and that, but and I'm focus on core coins, but something where it's on Ethereum. You compare your hex from PulseChain, which you can bridge to Ethereum.
So you're talking about just
with
reloading
from
Pulse X
Ethereum
over there?
All the things. Yeah. Like Pulse X over there, basically.
You just do, Pulse X for Ethereum, and it would, you just have the same farms and same setup.
Yep. Why not?
Question is, how do you load it with coin?
Well,
yes,
there'd have to be community engagement to make that happen, right? So
yes,
you'd want the real ink minted on the Pulse chain side to be somehow minted and sent over.
Yeah. Well, the way that works is there's no mint button for ink.
I guess it doesn't really serve though, because you still want people to bridge liquidity into our chain. It'd just be it would prevent people from taking that step.
Yeah, but it's still better than them not engaging at all, right? So it creates a visibility, right? And it would, if there's an arbitrage on on one side of the bridge, people are likely to make that move, right? So you could even manufacture an arbitrage.
Yeah, you gave
on
me
the
an
Pulse
idea,
side.
but it wouldn't be like a regular deck, so. But I can't say more. It's a good idea.
Okay.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking.
Let's talk.
I was thinking there's stuff that's going on like with Liberty Swap and some of these other protocols, and and I think it's another jump the shark moment, like that we're kind of describing in your head, where all the things we're thinking about right now are like, well, maybe we could do it, maybe we can't do it, but I got a bridge, I got to do this, I got to do that, instead of what's the end state, envisioning what the end state, what's the vision, and the vision is, no matter what chain you're on, you can do all this stuff, right? The tech will figure itself out. Now, of course, being in the tech side, I know that doesn't happen automatically, but I think that's what we're looking for. It is that future world where multi-chain is real, right? Like real.
Yep.
It's almost there. I mean, growing pains. And then it doesn't matter where it came from, right? You have the liquidity and some sort of guarantee that you're not losing value just because you're using some other app, that's reaching
Yep.
across these chains. But
That's inevitable. You just got to make the UI, UX good. Everything's audited.
Yeah. No, I think there's definitely room for some sort of product. But the particulars to maximize the draw to the pulse chain and not pull away from the pulse chain, that would have to be planned out very carefully. Because it wouldn't you wouldn't want to launch something that was in competition with the pulse chain. That's not
right.
community minded. But some smart guys that maybe could figure it out.
We do's. Making me think about stuff. That's why my head hurts.
Prime 2 fucks is just under parity right now. Sounds like a steal.
Yep. I may or may not buy it up when it drops below parity. Because I happen to know that the main buyer for Prime 2 fucks is the 2 fucks protocol, and it buys it every single day. So when I see that dip below the parity with Prime fucks, I know it's probably over a lot of people's heads. I know that it's going to come back because I know that the 2 fucks protocol will buy it every day. So, it's if you see the dip, the dip will get bought up by the protocol eventually, at the very least. So something to consider.
So Prime fucks is fucks and 2 fucks. So why didn't you call it?
No, it's PHUX and Pulse.
Oh, is it? I was going to say,
That's
why didn't you just call it 3 fucks?
Right.
Good question.
Because
sometimes I wish I just called it a more serious name in general.
If we can make it even more, yeah. Hey, here's a question for you. It's not out yet. I know they're doing some testing, but how close is Tide, man? Do you know? Is the Tide coming in or what?
I don't have any inside information on that.
I have inside information, but only insofar as I went and did a trade, and I was like, holy crap, the Tide DEX is there. Tide.
It's not.
TIDE,
okay.
And the DEX, it's there. So
nice.
It's beginning to show up. I mean, the routers are beginning to see it. The ARBs are beginning to see it. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know how close the team is. I haven't seen any announcements. This is, everybody doesn't know, Zurex Coast is getting ready to officially launch a balancer V2.
V3.
V3. Last time I
supposedly V3 is what they spoke of in the past.
Yeah, V3.
So even if it was V2 with a different focus than Fux, which is balancer V2, like it's more the merrier. But they spoke of V3. I'm not sure all the pieces are on the Pulse chain to launch the V3, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, and it's going to be really focused on. My understanding would be primarily focused on stables and cores. That's it. I shouldn't say that's it. Primarily focused on those two. I don't know what it's going to be able to do overall, but I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of it.
Me too. I'm interested in the concept of like 2 fucks is a fork of Aura Finance, which is more or less convex, and it's built on top of like Aura Finance is on top of Balancer on Ethereum, and 2 fucks is on top of Fux on Pulse chain. We could redeploy that fairly complicated bit of code on top of a new Balancer fork, and it would work. So if when they're ready, I'm going to take a close look at that and see if that's going to be a thing.
Yeah. All this stuff now. I we're nowhere near this yet, but this is all foretelling. These increases in technology and capabilities are kind of foretelling a time in the future where slippage is not as much of a thing as it is today. Like when I go do a stock trade, I may not get the price that I wanted because the price moved, but it didn't move because of slippage. It was, it didn't move because of my size at that time of my order. And a lot of this stuff is beginning to bring in some highfalutin math and methodologies and, conditional LPs and all this kind of stuff where there's going to be a lot more options on the market. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to imagine what it's going to look like yet, but I think that might be something in the future where, yeah, I mean, certainly somebody will still getting paid for guaranteeing value and putting value up, but it won't be so much slippage based, which will make things super efficient, I think. But
it should make things more
like
efficient. Yes. The natural course is you build liquidity over time. Yes. And I think Tide's a good option for that.
The 0x Coast guys.
Yeah, I mean, those guys kick ass. If anyone's capable of
they show
making
up for work.
rock solid, yeah, more than I do. If they if they launch this thing and it's got serious stable liquidity, I mean, that's a huge opportunity to capture some APRs.
Yeah.
And like the bull market won't last forever. I think it'll last for 4 or 5 more years, but
perpetual bull market.
Stables could be good eventually.
Bitcoin and ETH look a little wrecked right now. More Bitcoin and XRP.
What is happening in the market, Axis?
Yeah,
just a pullback. We're still deep into the bull. This is like that 30 to 40 days of darkness before things get crazy. I've seen this before. This is like literally on Bitcoin. It's the same shit we did last February, March 23 through October. Looks like literally identical. So I think this will be like a sideways pattern for some time, and then we'll take off. I'm going to guess it'll happen by probably like late October. Well, October is usually pretty good. I mean, I would say, yeah, October, November would be sweet to start to see a recovery off the lows. And like the lows are like basically like 100K Bitcoin. One more push down there. BlackRock sold like 500 million today. So they're obviously trying to just push it down to liquidate happy guys and traders and whatnot, and then
so reset the table. More.
Yeah, you just get to reset the table at a better price. When you have an infinite amount of dollars, like it's really just a game of ping pong with yourself. In Bitcoin land right now, it's not big enough for BlackRock to have to compete. It's going to be interesting because I think the upside is still pretty high, more than people kind of understand.
Timing wise, it works out great with massive, never before seen marketing.
Yeah, I mean, it's good timing for sure. I don't know how deliberate. I mean, obviously there was some inclination that ETH was getting ready to do something big back in like April. So there's been time enough to plan and kind of predict this thing coming. Yeah, it's good timing.
Everything I see looks really good. I mean, of course, individually short time frames, I don't like price being down, but I mean, that's kind of part of the game. But
I don't know, dude. It's not like this.
It's not like it's been horrible. Bitcoin's been
there have been people that have getting chopped up, like, they go in and they make their DCA buy into like something on Coinbase, or they buy some of this stuff, and then they get like a couple down weeks and they have to sell before the, because originally, like, let's say they were expecting a 2x, then they get in.
Yeah.
And
you mean traders, yeah.
And they make like 30%. Well, I'm just talking about people that DCA in with more than they can actually afford to lose. Because some people are like so strapped. I mean, this is just the reality, is like, if you're not in crypto yet, you're so strapped by the real world day to day that you're bringing in like $1,000 or something, and then you're waiting up to 3 weeks or 4 weeks, but then you start pushing that like 4 to 6 week range, and usually people run out of time. And they're like, fuck, I need to liquidate some of this, or on all of it in a lot of cases. Then they're reset back at 0. And if they're unlucky, they lost 10%. And if they're lucky, they made 30%. And then it seems like 2 more weeks later, everything pops off, right? I've seen that happen like 4 times this year already. Just like, feel bad. It's like, how do you get people to be able to have generating enough incoming capital to put stuff in and keep it in? That's like the big secret sauce of crypto.
Yep.
Here's a question. I don't know if you guys know anything about a 51% attack. Do you know anything about this? Why is no one talking about the 51% possible attack? Well, I heard about XMR being attacked.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know anything
Yeah.
about a 51%.
I don't know. I could ask a dev if PulseChain's at risk, but
Well, it would be about the validators, right? Like if
there's
you controlled
52,000
51% of the
validators.
validators,
Is he talking
well,
about
shit, fine, too.
validatorstore.com having 66% of the active validators?
Yeah, but that's not really accurate.
Right,
Yeah,
because those
so
are individually owned under one banner, right? So
yeah. Just so anybody knows, when you set up validators, you are able to choose your graffiti. It does nothing to do with where the validators are actually hosted or stored. So don't let anybody tell you that just because. Just because it's all under there, that's like a hard number, because they could be in different places and they could be in different.
he's talking about Bitcoin mining, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, I've heard that before. The
That's like
51%.
FUD that's been around for forever, pretty much.
Yep. I remember talking about that last cycle, like arguing about whether Bitcoin was secure because there's this 51% attack vector, but it was cost so many millions and millions of dollars to possibly set it up, and people would notice. I don't think it's likely.
Now the top four have 30, 50, 40, 50, like 59%. The top four, so they would have to collude.
Yeah, and like, why would you want to obviously, if you're a top four Bitcoin miner or Pulse validator, like, why would you want to wreck the thing that's obviously working for you?
Yeah. We had those in HEX. They were called emergency end stakers.
Yeah, well, they can do that to themselves, right? Like, it's
Do you want to see this screen access?
No, I was just
go down.
Yeah, I was just gonna show them what I was talking about with the 51% attack on PulseChain potential. That list on the bottom left there just brings light to who has what in terms of validators. So that top one has 66% of them, but they're individually owned, but operated by one person, I think, or a company.
Well, no, not necessarily. It may just be that
they don't have the keys.
No, it just may be that a lot of us, when we got our validators, just kept validatorstore.com as a graffiti. I did. I mean, I control everything. Nobody controls it. So, I mean, I have my own vault off site, buried 60 feet in the ground, blah, blah, blah. But, anyways, that validator set has nothing to do with Validator Store other than it had the graffiti. So don't go by the graffiti, right? I mean, it kind of like tells you who they were affiliated with. It came through, the people probably got their validators from Theater originally. But
gotcha.
And I don't even know. And then I could have chose not to be included. So there could be other ones, out here that are there. I do laugh a little bit here because I never see the Validated X guys here listed. I don't know why they don't have them up here, but whatever. Another thing is you really can't count on the list being correct.
Yeah, what about the vouch guys? Are they on that list?
Yeah, I don't see them either, but I don't know what they would be listed as. So it's kind of, yeah. Information is king. Information is king. Hey, this might be a good one for everybody, or for maybe access for you to address.
So in blockchains, there's this thing called consensus. In Bitcoin, it's called mining. And in the early days, anybody could hook their desktop computer up to it and start earning Bitcoins to secure the network. That's just a fancy way of saying running a program on your computer that smashes mathematical equations while you're gone. And you'd get, if you won the block, which would happen once every 10 minutes, you got Bitcoins. And so that has evolved into like crowdsourcing all of this mining power into like big composites. They're like pools of compute power that come together to get a larger percentage share of the network, so they have a higher shot of winning the lotto, aka getting the Bitcoin reward. But so like if you got like 3 or 4 of those big guys together and they colluded, they'd have more than 50% of the hash power, and so they could go in there and reorder the blocks and mess with and like unspend people's money, and like there you can like really mess with the blockchain by kind of manipulating the block path. And the advantage of doing so is that you'd make all the money because you could always make your blocks be the next block. But at the same time, you just invalidate the reason for Bitcoin, and then you kind of kill the golden goose for everybody. So it's like, it's highly unlikely that people would do it to Bitcoin. But you'd have the same concern with any other network too that has some form of consensus. So
we got to remember that Bitcoin's pretty much the lowest tech there is as far as blockchain goes too, right? I feel like there's probably more levers to pull on Ethereum to fix that problem than there is with Bitcoin.
By the way, Bitcoin survived one of these sort of once. It was where they forked it was not exactly a 51% attack, but it was an attempt to move the mindshare of Bitcoin off to a different network called Bitcoin Cash, which used different code. So it was like they forked the network into two, and then there was this big competition for which one would live. And they're both still around, but Bitcoin has all the mind share.
Indeed. And the most of the money, I suspect. Yep. Isn't Litecoin also a fork of Bitcoin?
Yes.
Yes, it was. For some reason, I was going to say it was a fork of Dogecoin, but I think you're right, it's Bitcoin. Hey, Johnny's saying the fear now in BTC is collision on potential future BIPs. And so BIPs being future changes to the spaghetti code. Yeah, I can see where that could be a concern, right? Because there may be more changes coming that aren't coordinated and might actually go up against each other. Yeah, I hope to be here, Johnny, 120 years. We'll see. 120 years until they figure it out. That's when the 21 million to be finally mined, right?
I think things will change before then, not a necessity, because Bitcoin's on an unsustainable path right now in terms of the tech. The price would have to, when the block rewards won't start to run dry, the price would have to be, 20, 30, 40, $50 million for the mining network to keep the same amount of power.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to do something at some point to change the reward structure. And then that's going to be a huge contention at point. And then it'll, if anything, it'll diminish what Bitcoin's worth. And a lot of that value will flood into better tech, just because it'll be like, the golden era of Bitcoin will be done. But we're probably a long ways off from that at this point.
Or they'll orchestrate a rotation, right?
Well, I mean, I guess you get that no matter what, right? So.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can get rotation.
I mean, Bitcoin at that point, up until that point, is just going to be a vessel to make money, right? So, all good things. Like all good things.
SJ says, send your cat to her fast.
It'll be expensive to ship. It's she weighs 23 pounds.
Oh, that's not too bad. Meow. So what else you guys have anything else you want to hit on, talk about? I don't see any requests in the chat.
I don't think so. Just tomorrow we got the Hex Week. Day 3 and day 4 is on Friday. Is that right?
Yeah, dude. I had no idea I was speaking every day until I looked at the schedule. Go figure. Yeah, I think that was probably my responsibility, is that when RH Max did the schedule and he sent it to me, and asked me for my input, I probably should have looked at it more detailed.
So tomorrow, I'm with you on the Steakhouse panel, Crispy.
Woohoo! We can talk about steaks, man. I like steaks.
Triplet Dad.
Yeah, I want to hear from
That's an underused protocol. I think that's a great one to go over for HEX.
I know. He made the pitch to me, and I was thinking about doing, trying to get, do a monthly stream and staking event, or something like that, or maybe it wouldn't be monthly, but like as a group and do pulled stakes that way. That could be fun. Yeah. I mean, it's a community thing, right? I mean, as a community.
Yeah. Well, and it's like it just makes financial sense for most people. To use that, unless you're staking like a whale by yourself, why not cash in on being able to share the unstaking fee and so on and so forth, and getting a bigger pays better bonus. The math was good. I see you. You also have super hex strategies on Thursday, Crispy Man. Perhaps you could
super hex.
You could work that in there.
It's going to be super hex.
Yep.
I don't.
And access here on hex price history.
I gotta
That's
ask.
exciting.
I gotta ask. Maybe I should ask somebody to come on with me for that or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm not sure what super hex would be. I might have put into my questionnaire that I wanted to talk about super bonds, but they've been talking about actuator a lot already. So I don't know if there's really a need to do another actuator protocol. But I could talk about that, I guess, maybe too. But I mean,
strategies in general, right? Like that's a super hex strategy. Yeah. Like, liquidity providing options between hex-like things. Like there's all kinds of high-level strategies.
What do you think my number one strategy is right now?
Buying, staking.
Wow, yeah, there's that. But buying for sure, right? But Quattro Cinco's ladder. Never thought I'd be talking about it like that. Like I used to roll my eyes too in the beginning. So it just goes to show that even I didn't, we didn't understand. Like I was like, okay, talking about Quattro Cinco's all the time. And now here I am, like all I do is talk about Quattro Cinco's. And then, but it's because I believe that is the most asymmetrical opportunity for the wildest stuff. And it's not that I think everything I do should be Quattro Cinco. I'm just saying that I want to have exposure Quattro Cinco to hex because I can't come back in 3 years and do the stakes, right? I don't have a time machine. So if I don't get them now, I won't have them later and I can't participate the way I want to. So, but that was one.
You're forward thinking, right?
Yeah.
Hedging, they call it.
Is that what we call it?
I think so.
Is that what they call it?
I think that's what it's called. It's hedging. Just in case it's successful.
Just in case. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Can you imagine we end up with some random pinata thing? Nobody's staking all this time, and then all of a sudden the random pinatas raining candy on the little kids. Well, I guess it's insane.
I mean, yeah, I can imagine that.
It's raining hex, and hex is $10.
I never thought the candy store would take 90% of its candy off the table, and that happened.
There we go.
I know, bastard. They put it back in the box. It got recalled.
So, anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow on the Hex Week.
Yeah, we'll see you on the Hex Week.
We'll drop some interesting info on the price. It was it's a messy time. I could say a lot. I can't say everything, but I could say a lot.
And that's saying a lot. All right, guys. Hey, everybody out there, you guys stay crispy. We'll see you next time around. You go see Access at accesslive.com. You guys know where to find Mr. Two Fucks there. Fast Abdul. What's your exact call sign tax on Twitter?
Yep. It's at Fast Abdul on Twitter. So you can also twofucks.io or inkprinter.io inkprinter.com. Links to Telegram rooms there. Watch out for scammers.
Were you saying Access?
I was just saying, I thought he changed his handle on X to Here for the Tech. At Here for the Tech. I thought that's what it was, but maybe I'm wrong.
I like that handle.
See if you can get it. Snipe that shit.
That one works too.
All right, everybody. Name Passive Duel.
Indeed.
All right. Talk to you guys.
Everybody keep on hexing.